Hello, my name is Steve Kligerman and I am an Assistant Director for the Center for Career Development. In this presentation, we will be reviewing the process for constructing bullet point statements. Before we begin talking about bullet point development, I want to talk about becoming career ready. Becoming career ready is the development of 8 career readiness competencies that you can also think of as skills or behaviors. These competencies were created by the National Association of Colleges and Employers based on research and conversations with employers about what they look for in candidates. These are a catalyst for the content that should be displayed on a resume within any industry or field. This presentation and working on your resume may help enhance your career and self-development, communication, professionalism, and technology competencies. Keep these competencies in mind as you are writing your bullet points and highlighting your skills and accomplishments. So let's start with what bullet point statements in a resume are. Bullet points can be thought of as personal sales pitches or impact statements that demonstrate the skills and competencies the reader is looking for. The job or program description will indicate what traits or experiences it is looking for in an applicant, and it is your job to show how you possess and have effectively utilized those skills and experiences in past situations. Bullets are 1 to 2 lines of text in length and should always begin with a strong action verb that directly captures the reader's attention. Bullet statements should not contain personal pronouns or identifiers and should always be written with the tense in mind. For example, if I'm writing about an experience that ended 2 years ago, my bullets should be written in past tense. If I'm highlighting something that I am still currently involved with, my bullets will be in present tense. When initially brainstorming ideas to write for bullets, you should do some research and think about the skills and competencies your readers will be looking for. For industry-based resumes that might be used at a career fair, bullets should focus on the overall skills that are utilized or essential for that industry. If writing a resume for a specific audience, be it applying to a particular job or providing someone with a resume to write a letter of recommendation for you, the bullet should focus on the specific impacts or actions that directly align with what is included in the job or program description. After doing some research and understanding what the audience is looking for, it's time to construct the bullet points. There are 3 main components that every bullet point statement should address. First, what did you do? This is a specific task, responsibility, or action that you performed. Next, how did you do it? The transferable skill or technical skills and action that was utilized to perform the task. And finally, why you did it. Why was it important for you to use those skills to perform that task? What benefit or impact did it make to the organization or the people you were supporting? When creating these 3 elements, it's important not to overthink the content. The finessing of the language will come later. For this step, just focus on getting these 3 elements down on the paper as if you were simplistically explaining them to a friend over coffee. After the what, how, and why have been written down, it's time to incorporate some action into the bullet statement. The audience will want to see your skills in action, not just take your word that you have them. To do this, you will want to incorporate 2 to 3 action verbs into your bullet statement that demonstrate exactly how you made your impacts through certain behaviors. As we said before, bullets should always start with a strong action verb, but it should be a strong verb that also directly relates to the position. For example, if I'm applying for a position that wants someone with strong influential skills, I might choose to phrase my bullet in a way that starts with an action verb like persuaded or empowered or motivated, rather than hiding those words in the middle of it. Once the action has been incorporated into the bullet, see if there are any additional ways to expand its impact. This could be through adding quantification elements or including technical elements or functions you are familiar with. Bullet development is a process, and no one will ever construct the perfect bullet point on their first attempt. Work to incrementally improve it one step at a time until you feel it does a great job of highlighting your skills and accomplishments. All right, so let's take a visual look at everything we just discussed. On this slide, you will see the development of a bullet point statement that might appear on the resume of a Career Center student employee who facilitates resume critique appointments. In step 1, you can see how they have identified and brainstormed the skills they want to showcase through this particular statement. I want and need to showcase teaching and communication skills along with leadership and communication competencies. Then they went on to list out the simple what, how, and why of one of the tasks they performed in their role, reviewing resumes. In step 3, they started to bring action to the skills they listed in the how section of step 2. You can see how they chose to lead with the word educate, referring to their teaching skills, and the word demonstrating in relation to their verbal communication skills. You can also see how these action verbs allow them to grammatically adjust the way the bullet is written, so it no longer seems as basic compared to what was brainstormed in step 2. Lastly, they chose to add quantification and technical elements to their bullet in step 4 by highlighting how many resumes they reviewed and what specific tools they used when using their verbal communication skills. So if we look at what was originally constructed in step 2, read resumes and give feedback using teaching skills and verbal communication skills so students can find jobs, to where we ended in step 4, educate 300 undergraduate students on the concepts of resume writing by demonstrating bullet development and Microsoft Word formatting techniques to help convey relevant skills and experiences to employers during the job search process. Those two bullets are talking about the exact same experience, but by taking the time to incrementally improve and add in those quantification and technical elements, you can see that step 4 would be a much stronger bullet point statement and highlight skills and accomplishments in a much better way. Once you have your primary resume with the basic formatting and content, you should think about how you want to tailor your document to specific audiences. Effectively tailored resumes should be able to clearly demonstrate to the reader how your experiences and skills connect to the opportunity that you are applying for. Mimicking language and structuring content in a way that follows a similar pattern of priority as the job description will be important to help keep the reader engaged with the document as long as possible, as well as increase the odds of scoring higher in an applicant tracking system. This slide demonstrates the 4 fundamental ways you can ensure you are creating an effectively tailored resume. Start by reviewing the job description to get a better understanding of what will be asked of the individual in the role and what the company's priorities are. This will help you decide what experiences to include on the document and in what order. Do they fall in the need to know, want to know, or nice to know categories? Next, highlight the key words, skills, and competencies that are included in the description. Also, take note of how many times each of those items are mentioned. This will help determine action verbs and language to use in bullet point statements to mirror what the audience is looking for, as well as how the bullets are arranged to keep the reader engaged. While paying attention to keywords and structure is important, it's also important to pay attention to any special guidelines or instructions that are included in the job description as well. This could include specific instructions like what file format to use when saving the resume. Is it a Word document or PDF? Additional information that may need to be included on a resume or cover letter, such as vaccination status for specific fields or how you heard about the company, or something as simple as an email address as to where the resume should be sent. Here, we have provided an example of how an individual might choose to highlight specific competencies and skills in a job description to help determine how they will tailor their resume. In this example, specific elements of the community organizer role are color-coded to align with the 8 career readiness competencies. You can also see how the resume writer also assigned a number to how many times those competencies appeared within the overall description, giving them an idea of how they might wish to prioritize their skills and experiences that align with each of those on their resume. Let's recap what we have learned about bullet point statements. They are a key piece and often the most important piece of your resume. Describe what, how, and why you did things to best detail your skills and accomplishments. Show rather than tell to prove what you are capable of. Tailor your bullet point statements to show you are a great fit for that specific role instead of just any role. And highlight career competencies within your bullets, as you know they are key things that employers look for in their candidates.